It's the third month of the year and there's lots of space to explore. My name is Declan and this is Space Events, the show that compiles all your favorite events in aerospace into one convenient video. Starting the show with SpaceX, Starship is the brand new super heavy launch vehicle that they're developing in Boca Chica, Texas, USA. Last month, on February 2nd, Starship SN9 performed a 10-kilometer flight test that was a success. It looked perfect through launch, engine shutdowns 1, 2, and 3, the flip, and the aerodynamic descent. On the same place as its predecessor SN8, it failed to land. This was because of a Raptor failure which caused the vehicle to not be able to control its flip, which caused it to hit the ground sideways and rud. It was still a successful test, but now we're on to its successor, SN10. SN10's test campaign started on February 23rd with its first static fire. Due to a Raptor engine being, quote, suspect from company CEO Elon Musk, they swapped an engine on February 24th. Just a day later, they performed another static fire which prepped the vehicle for flight. SN10's first opportunity to fly due to road closures and TFRs is March 1st. SN10 will perform a very similar test to SN9 and SN8, going to 10 kilometers, shutting down each Raptor engine in a sequence, and then trying to be the first to land it. After SN10's test flight, if it is successful, we might see it fly again very fast because of the future ambitious plans of Starship. Or they can go a different route and go to SN11, which is a very similar vehicle to SN10. And after SN11, they will skip SN12 through 14 to go directly to SN15. This is because SN15 is the first Starship with major upgrades. For SpaceX's workhorse two-stage Falcon 9, there is possibly 4 Starlink launches, but one only has details. Starship Launch 20 has a net date of March 8th and will continually add 60 satellites to SpaceX's rapidly developing, low-latency, high-speed internet constellation in low Earth orbit. The last Starlink launch was February 28th or March 1st, wherever you live, and that was delayed due to a booster failing to land on February 16th. The first stage of the Falcon 9 will land downrange on an autonomous spaceport drone ship entitled Of Course I Still Love You in the Atlantic Ocean after being launched from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. After the first Starlink launch in March, there's possibly 3 more Starlink launches 21 through 23, but nothing has been confirmed yet, and they're expected to have similar characteristics to Starlink Launch 20. For Rocket Lab in March, they have a mission entitled They Go Up So Fast. This will be the 19th launch for Rocket Lab's small-sat 2-stage launch vehicle, the Electron rocket. This will be launched from Launch Complex 1 on the Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand. On board will be the Photon spacecraft, a brand new satellite bus to provide spacecraft with satellite basics so the customer can make their satellites for cheaper, better, and reach orbit faster. This mission is developed heritage for a NASA launch later this year. The payload on board is an Earth observation satellite for Black Sky, 2 IoT nanosatellites for Fleet Space and Mariota, technology demonstrations for the University of New South Wales, a weather satellite Pathfinder technology demonstration for Care Weather Technologies, and finally a technology demonstrator for the US Army's Space and Missile Defense Command. So the small sat launch vehicle Electron will be packing a lot on this 19th flight. For Virgin Orbit, their Launcher 1 launch vehicle first reached orbit on January 17th, 2021. Their next launch, STP-27VP, will launch from the wing of a Boeing 747, which will take off from Andersen Air Force Base in Guam and will go to a polar orbit. STP stands for Space Test Program, which is the primary launch provider for the US Department of Defense. There will be a total of 11 payloads on board. For a company we have not talked about on this show so far, Firefly will have their first launch on their Firefly Alpha launch vehicle on March 14th. Firefly Alpha is Firefly's brand new 2-stage small sat launch vehicle that is made almost completely out of carbon fiber, which is cool. The mission, entitled under the acronym DREAM, will launch from Space Launch Complex 2W at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, USA. There will be a total of up to 26 CubeSats that will be on board DREAM. With that, it's on to our favorite segment, Moon Time. The new moon for the month of March is on the 13th, and the full moon is on the 28th. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you next month on Space Events.